And welcome back to part 9 of how to make a HexTile board game in Unreal Engine. In this tutorial, we're going to work on setting up some sort of battle preview HUD like this to show you who's attacking who, what the attack and strength look like, so the player can get that information and then decide to attack. In the previous video, we worked on setting up the unit's kind of base stats, and when you select units, updates the HUD, vice versa, and we have movement in the game. So now we're going to work on actually overlapping units together, and then getting ready to actually start combat. So the first thing I want to do is within our Excel sheet, in our map, this is where we're setting up where initial units start, based off the tile. But what I want to do, just to make it a little bit easier to test, is actually have some units spawn next to each other. So we're going to do that now. So I think, let me pull this off the side so I can look. If you're in a similar format as me, you can just kind of copy along, but I think it's row 1, or let's see, I think we start at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's find row 4, and then we'll do something like this. So 1, 2, and we'll give player 1 a spearman and player, oh wait, yes, swordsman, and player 2 will get a spearman. So I'm doing this on tile 48 and 49. Maybe I'll give them both a footman too, so we make sure that multiple units are coming through. So, and then player index actually 0 and player index 1. So tile 48, 49, give player 1 a footman and a swordsman, and give player 2 a footman and a spearman, and then make sure the tile is set properly. So then from there, we can just copy this, and then go into our CSV, which is actually what's pulling into Unreal Engine. Paste that down, and should have this right here. And now let's go back into Engine, and into our main. Let's see, where do we put this? Is it under assets? You have assets, and then we can re-import this table. Let's just make sure this came in. Okay, looks like it did. And now when we start the game, we should have some units, not build, one sec. Play, not build. Now you should have some units spawning right next to each other. And so currently, this unit can't move into here because we haven't actually set up the attack logic, but it can move around, vice versa. So let's get into that. So the way this is working now is in our player controller. Where's our movement? Let's put some comments around this. Move to tile and attack tile. I'm just going to scale this up a little bit. Okay. So how this working now is when we click on a tile, do we have units selected? If that's true, the tile we click, does it not equal the tile we're coming from? Is the tile adjacent to the tile we're coming from? If true, does the tile belong to a player or not? If it does belong to a player, does it not belong to us? And if that's true, then we attack that tile. So does somebody own this tile, and does that tile not belong to us? If it does belong to us, then we just move the units to that tile. And if nobody owns the tile, we just move the units to the tile. But we actually haven't built out this code yet. It's just what we're going to do. So the way I want this to work is the player that is initiating the attack will get the preview screen, just so they can visualize, okay, this is how much attack my units will have versus the defense, and then make a decision from there. If do I want to proceed with the attack, or do I want to withdraw because maybe I miscounted and this defending army is actually a little bit stronger than I thought. So what we need to do first is we're going to have to make a widget. So let's go to where we keep our HUD widget, which is main widgets, and we will create a user interface blueprint. We'll call this battle preview widget. And in here, let's just put a border. And let's grab this, let's anchor this to the center. And I don't know, maybe make it, just do like 500 by 500 by now. So then position minus 250 and position Y minus 250. So that'll center it. And we're going to go back to my HUD quick. And I'm just going to grab the border here and grab our brush color, copy paste, and paste that over the top, just so that's consistent. And then within our border, do a vertical box and a text. So in this text, we'll make this horizontal alignment. Let's call it battle preview. And then what I just want to see quickly is what's my total attack and what's their total defense. So we'll need a horizontal box. And then there'll be two sides, so left and right side. So we'll need two vertical boxes, but we'll build this one out first. Then a text. And let's think about how we want to do this. So this will be like attacker, name, and then total strength. So we'll do text, another horizontal box under this vert box, and then two texts under that. Okay, something like that. So the way this will look is I'm going to set this vertical box to fill. And let's copy all this and paste it on the other side. Okay, so this will be attacker. And this will be the player name. So attacker, Jim Bob, and the other side will be, defender, Bob Jim, whatever players' names are going to be. And then within here, we'll do attack power, :space, defense strength, :space. I'm actually going to make this attack strength. Okay, and both of these by default we'll just put 0. And obviously I'm going to have to resize this a bit. So let's go back to our border. Let's make this wider. It's like 700. And it doesn't need to be so tall. Maybe 200. We'll adjust our positions to minus 350, minus 100. Put that right in the middle. And this horizontal box, we can fill it. And both of these vertical boxes, we can do a vertical alignment. Actually, no, let's do full. But then let's grab all of these, the text and the horizontal boxes, and we can do fill on these, which will space them out. And then I'm going to make these size 20 in vertical alignment. And then this will do vertical alignment, fill the middle, and we'll do bold italic. Okay, I think this should look pretty good. Maybe we make this a little bit bigger, more of a title. Make this like 26. The player name will make bold italic. Okay. And it's just a little bit smaller. I think it should be, yeah, okay. I think that'll look fine. Okay, so let's go back into our player turn-based controller. So the information we want to get is the tile 2. So we want to get who owns the tile, so we can get their name. And then we also need to get from the tile what units are on there so we can get the strength and then our own. So we're going to make a, oh yeah, we already did that. So attack tile server, and this is already bringing in our tile 2. And from our tile, see, do I have that up? Yeah. Within our tile, we do have a reference to our owning player index. And within our game mode, do we have a function here? Yeah, we have our player controller list. So this is an array that sets. So from there, we can use the player index to get the player controller and then get the name, which we don't have a name yet. So we'll just do something quickly for this. We'll call this player name. And this will just be a text. And just to do something easy, I'm going to make a function random player name. Obviously, we'll fill this in better later, where you can actually set a player name, but this will work for now. And to do this, we'll just do a switch on int. I don't know, we'll give kind of 4 random options. Rand, integer, and range. This will be 0 to 3. And this player name, let's make this replicated. And I don't know, we'll just do generic stuff. Bob, Jim, Alex, and Marcus. There's some random names. Just so we can get this feedback in the HUD, and obviously this will look better later. And then in our begin play, make this a little bit bigger. After we cast to our game mode, let's bring this over. We'll just run this function. And this will get a random name. And then that'll be good. This is setting in the player controller and is replicated. Okay, so let's start getting some information. So from our tile 2, let's get player owning player index. Then from here, let's grab our reference to our game mode. Convert this to a validated check. It should be valid. But if it's not, we can run some logic off it. Then from here, what is it? We need PC list. Let's do a function in here. Oh yeah, we do have that already. Get PC by index. So you should have something like this. And all we're doing is our input is our player index and then returning the player controller. So get PC by index. Okay, and then from here we can get player name. Perfect. And also from this tile, we can get units on tile. Okay. And I'm trying to think if I actually want to do this logic in the player controller. So I think I do want to, this logic, basically what we'll do is for each unit, we'll get their, since we're the attacker, we'll just get their defense. But we probably want, we're going to want the game mode to know that at some point. And I'm just trying to think if we should do that now or later. We'll do it here now and then we can do it later. Yeah, I think that's fine. So let's make a, actually let's do this in the game mode. I think that'll be better. So let's do a function. This will be defender strength. And this will have an input of BP pawn units. This will be an array. Call this defending units. And we'll have a bunch of variables off this, but we're going to make a variable. We'll call this defending actually delete the variable. We'll do this more efficiently. Right click, promote to variable, defending units. And similarly to what we kind of did in the HUD in the last video, we'll get this and we'll clear it before we do anything, just to make sure we don't have any leftovers. And now we'll create a new variable, and this will be defense strength. Maybe like the defender strength. How did that work? Defender strength. I don't know why it's defender armor strength. I don't know where else I have that variable that's kicking that back. Oh well, this will work. Defender army strength, and this will be an integer. And before we set the variable, drag this in and set it to 0. And now we'll set our defending units, and let's try to clean this up. Okay. Set off this, we'll do a for each loop. Okay, so for each unit in this array, get strength, or get, what do we call it, defense, get unit defense. And then we'll take our defending army strength plus an integer. Let me kind of drag this down. And then we'll set this to this. So what this will do, if there's 3 units in here, right, this will be 0. And if you have a footman, it'll add 1 to 0, so 1. And then if you have a spearman, which has a defense of 2, it'll then add 2 to 1, which will be 3. And then off of the complete, we'll just do a return node. I think that's all we'll need. Actually, and we might want to, let's do an output as an integer, and we'll call this defender army strength. And this will be a single variable. Let's pass this through. Okay, so this is good because this will be set on the game mode, which is where you want logic to generally run on the server. Instead of having each player controller kind of run this, we'll have the game mode do it. I want to do one more thing here too. We're going to do another input, and we'll just do the player or maybe defending player index. And from here, we will get PC by index. And we'll promote this to a variable, defending player PC. And we'll set this here. So we'll want this logic later for when we actually do the attacks, and then that player controller knows they're being attacked. So we'll just set that now. So back into our PC turn-based. And instead of actually doing this, no, we'll still do that. It's fine. I did undo. Okay, but we want to run this defender strength function. So off of our game mode, defender strength. And our units on tile will pass through, and then we'll pass this index. And now we have this strength, which is good. So we have player, the defending player name, defending player strength. And then we will get a reference to self. And the last thing we need for this preview is our attacker strength. So again, we'll do this in game mode. So we'll make a new function, attacker strength. And similarly, we'll basically do this exact same thing. So first thing we want to do is we need 2 inputs. player index, maybe more accurately attacking player index, and attacking units. This will be BP pawn, master, object reference, array, compile save, promote this to a variable, and similarly we'll get this and clear it. And we also need to do the get PC by index. Man, let's just rearrange some of this stuff. And this will promote to a variable. This will be the attacking player PC. Okay, set that, let's drag this over. And then we'll clear the attacking units. And let's reroute these. Okay. And then we also need another variable, attacking army, attacker army strength. And set this to 0. Let's do this here. Okay. And then a for each loop. Okay, so we'll get this plus attack, get unit attack. And then set this. Okay. Then we need a return node off of the complete. And what are we passing through other than, okay, yeah, just the attacker strength. So output, integer, attacker strength, and a single reference. Whoops, go back. And then we'll pass this variable through, attacker army strength. Okay, back to our player controller. Off of our game mode, attacker strength. Okay. And in our selected tile from, get units. And let's pass that through. And let me just kind of drag this down. Oh, this looks so messy. We'll do some stuff with some reroute nodes, I think, to make this look a little bit better. Okay, so now we have all the information we want for the preview. Oh, other than our player index. That will run here. Okay. So now let's drag this into our battle preview widget. And we need variables. So let's do our first one, and will just be text. Make another text, make another variable. This will be an integer, but not integer, 64 is the normal one, then another integer. Okay, so this first one will be attacker name. Next one will be defender name. Next one will be attacker combat strength. Oh, just attacker strength is fine. And defender strength. Okay. And for all of these, we're going to make these incidentable, expose on spawn. So I'll show you what this does if you're not familiar with it. Pile save, let's go back to our designer. So this attacker player name, let's bind that to attacker name, defender name, defender name, attack strength to our attack strength, and defense strength to our defender strength. Okay, so now back to our player controller. We can now create widget, and it will be the battle preview. File save. So since we made these instant editable and expose on spawn, we can just set them directly when we actually create the widget. So one thing before I forget, add to viewport. And now we can actually pass all of this information through. So the first thing we need is our own name, which, thinking about this now, maybe we should just do in here. It might be a little bit cleaner. Whatever. Um, let's grab this logic again and our player index. Grab this here. Okay, so this will get the attacker's name. Here's the defender's name. Reference to self for the owning player. Defending strength and attacking strength. And object reference to the game mode. Oh, this is hideous to look at. We may be able to even consolidate all of this into a function within the game mode. Maybe I'll play around with that and we can come back to that, but this should work for now. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, so grab these two units, splaying down here, and now when we click, perfect. So Marcus is attacking Alex. Marcus has a strength of 3. Alex has a strength of 3, which makes sense because we have a swordsman and a footman. So attack 2, attack 1, then equals 3. And the defender has a spearman and a footman, and spearmen have a defense of 2, footmen a defense of 1, so 3 and 3. So that makes sense. Perfect. And actually, let's test this with the client quick. So we'll just grab the footman for the client. And nothing's happening. And we got a bunch of errors, so let me work through this quick. Okay, I know what we did. So this event is running on the server. This tactile server, which is correct, but widgets only exist on the client. And because the host of the game is the server and the client, it's a listen server, they control both. So it works for the server because it's kind of the one, I don't know, it's a combination, I guess is a way to think of it. But the client actually has an instance on the server and in the client. And because it's running through the server, the client can't create the widget on the server. It has to be done on the client. So what we have to do is disconnect all of this. Let's drag this down here. We'll make a new custom event, and we'll call this battle preview widget client. And this will run on the owning client and be reliable. This will connect here, and we can just grab this self reference. Okay, and then we can add these pins. Then we'll call this event battle preview widget client here. And now we can pass this information through. So here is the defender. Oops. Defender, attacker, the defender, and the attacker. Okay, let's try this again. So we are the client, grab a unit, perfect. Except the attacker is saying to, but it really shouldn't. Okay, so this is because I did the logic wrong. We are grabbing the units from the tile we're coming from, but that might not be the units we've selected. So let's delete this and grab our selected unit array instead. And we'll pass that into the attacker strength. So I'll try to explain what was happening, but this tile has 2 units. a footman, and a spearman. But if I'm only selecting the footman, I should only have an attack of 1. And now it's working correctly. What was happening before is it was still counting the spearman, but we don't have the spearman corrected, or the selected. Now when we grab both, it goes through. So that works now. What we have to do next is make a couple buttons in here. So let's go into our designer, and I'm actually going to have to make this bigger now. Let's do like 300 and then position -150. And under this vertical box, we'll put a horizontal box. And in this horizontal box, we'll put 2 buttons. And they'll both have text. And this will just be the withdraw button and the attack button. And both of these can be set to fill. And then we'll do horizontal alignment. So then this text will be withdraw. So basically don't attack. And then this one will be attack. And then back into our graph, grab both of these on clicked. So when we withdraw, all we will do is create a custom event. Let's call it withdraw from attack client. So run the on client, and we'll be reliable. And what we should do here is when we make this widget, let's promote this to a variable. We'll call this battle view widget. And you don't need to make this replicated because this will only ever be referenced on the client side. Server really can't even do anything with widgets, so you can just leave this non-replicated. And in the client, we will get it, and if it is valid, so convert to validated get, remove from parent. So basically that's just kind of a back button. It'll get rid of the widget. And if we hit the attack button, we'll make another custom event. Proceed with attack. And this will run on the server and reliable. Is this one reliable? Yes. And I'm just going to do a print string now for now, just to make sure this works. Hello. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, so on the right is our server. Server grabs a swordman, attacks 2 on 3, hits withdraw, and that's not working. Let's see if it works on the client. Oh, I don't think I called the event. Ugh, stupid. Battle preview widget. Forgot to do anything in here. One thing we should do too on the event construct is get owning player and promote this to a variable, owning PC. Connect this to here. Just move the event tick out of the way. And now when we click on the buttons, just grab our owning player controller, and this will be proceed with attack. Wait, delete this. We need to cast to PC turn-based. Promote to a variable, PC owner. There we go. Now we can grab this and proceed with attack. And then the withdraw will be withdraw attack client. Okay. And then this, on this event, we should just put underscore server. Okay. Now this should work. Let's try again. Okay. So we have the client. Grab our footman, attack, 1 on 2, we withdraw, pulls back, bring back up, hit attack. It is stringing hello. So that line of logic's working. Hit withdraw. And as the server, grab both of these units, have an attack of 3, withdraw, goes away, and attack, print string hello. Perfect. Cool. What I want to do next is now when we proceed with the attack, because right now, I should have shown this before, only the acting player knows this attack's coming, right? Client isn't getting any feedback, which I think is fine, right? This kind of helps this player plan during their turn. But when they actually attack, now we want another widget that'll be like an actual attack screen. And then the client or the defender gets that notification too. So I think let's work on, let's see, how long have we been going? Yeah, a little over 30 minutes. So I think I'll call it here. And then we'll do in the next video is make the widget showing the actual attack. And I think what I'm actually going to do is use the dice roll. So I'll link that below. But we'll use dice to actually add some variation into attacking. So I'll link that below. Watch that video, and you can get set up with the dice roll, and that'll just kind of add some variation. That's actually how our attacks will go. So I'll link that below. Watch that video, and then next I'll actually proceed with that.